they have always known that fire holds a secret. It is not just heat, not just flame, not just light in the darkness. It is the purifier, the remover of shadows, the destroyer of blocks, the eternal signal of transformation. From the first time humanity gathered around a flame, we knew fire doesn't just burn wood, it burns what cannot stay. It makes space for what must come next. And wealth obeys this same law. When you take what no longer serves you, the fear, the doubt, the whispered lies of lack, and you let fire consume it, you are not losing anything. You are sending a message, a command to the unseen, a decree to the universe that you are done with scarcity and ready for flow. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote of symbols that the outer world is always a picture of the inner one, and she hinted that when we combine faith with a symbol, the law responds faster than logic can follow. This is the fire law. It is the law of release. It is the law of renewal. It is the law that says, burn away the illusion, so wealth has a clear path to arrive. Listen carefully. When you light a flame with intention, you are not just striking a match. You are striking a covenant. You are calling money to rush as fast as fire runs through paper. The fire takes what you no longer carry, and the law gives you what you now command. Pause here. Take a breath. Feel the weight of what you have been carrying. The debts, the doubts, the disappointments. And know this: they are fuel, not your prison. Fuel. The fire will eat them, and wealth will replace them. If you feel this, declare it below. I burn all lack. I welcome wealth now. And as you do, you mark yourself as one of the few who understand the ancient rhythm, that destruction and creation are one breath apart. Stay with me, for in the next moments, you will learn the words that ignite the flame within you, and the exact decree that makes money rush in. Because fire is waiting, and so is your wealth. The ancients believed that every fire was a doorway, not only to warmth, not only to light, but to the unseen realm where thoughts become things. That is why offerings were burned, why incense rose in temples, why candles were lit at altars. Because fire carries words upward. Fire translates intention into command, and the law cannot resist a clear command. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, the invisible forces are ever ready to obey man's spoken word. She knew that when you speak with faith, you are not merely reciting. You are issuing orders to the universe. And when fire joins that word, the order is sealed in flame. This is why the fire law is not superstition. It is alignment. It is obedience to divine order. You take what represents your lack, a written fear, a limiting belief, a number of debt scrawled on paper, and you give it to the flame. And as it burns, you speak. Not begging, not imploring, not asking timidly, but commanding, as this burns, so does all lack in my life. And as this burns, money rushes to me, under grace, in perfect ways. Feel the difference in those words. Not please, not someday, but now. Fire has no delay. It consumes instantly. And so must your command. Now imagine it. The flicker of the flame. The paper curling, blackening, surrendering. And in that moment, wealth begins to rush. Fast, sure, like fire devouring what once chained you. This is the mystery. When you destroy the symbol of lack, you release the substance of wealth. And let me tell you, wealth does not trickle. It does not crawl. It does not delay. Wealth rushes. Wealth obeys. Wealth arrives as quickly as fire turns paper to ash. Comment this decree right now. I burn away delay. I ignite wealth now. Because when you put your words into flame, and your flame into words, you create a bond the universe cannot break. Stay with me, for we are only at the beginning of the fire law. Ahead lies the deeper revelation that fire not only burns away what you release, but also lights the path for what you claim. And when we walk that path, money must come to meet us. Close your eyes for a moment and picture fire not as danger, but as a servant of light, a servant of law, a servant that moves at the speed of obedience. Every spark is a messenger. Every flame is a runner carrying your command into the invisible highways of the universe. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "The elements themselves respond to man's word." Do you hear the weight of that? Not only people, not only circumstances, but the very elements: earth, air, water, and fire. Wait for your decree. And fire, dearest soul, is the quickest to obey. Think of this. Water flows slowly. Earth moves gradually. Air drifts where it wills. But fire leaps. Fire consumes. Fire transforms in an instant. That is why the fire law is so potent. It does not wait. It moves in the moment you speak. Now lean closer in your spirit. When you burn away lack, yes, you remove. But when you burn symbols of wealth, you ignite. What do I mean? Take a word like abundance. Write it, and instead of destroying it, you let the fire kiss it, flame licking the edges, as you declare, abundance is alive. Abundance is activated. Abundance rushes to me now. Do you see? One act, two powers. Burning lack to remove. Burning wealth symbols to release. The fire law doesn't only cleanse, it also calls. It lights the torch of your fortune. Imagine placing honey into flame, or cinnamon into fire, or a single coin warmed by the blaze. Not to destroy, but to awaken, to remind the universe. This too carries my decree. You are not playing with superstition. You are aligning with divine law. You are saying, if fire carries my lack away, then fire also carries my wealth command forward. Now seal this with your own words below. I ignite wealth. I burn away lack. I am a flame of prosperity. Say it. Write it. Burn it into your being, because when you see fire this way, you will never look at a flame again without hearing it whisper back. I am your servant. Tell me what to carry. Tell me what to burn. Tell me what to bring alive. And wealth will be one of those things. Stay with me. because in what comes next, you will learn the secret of timing. Why fire at night or fire at dawn can double the speed of your manifestation. There are hours when the veil is thin, when the universe listens closer, when your command strikes deeper. Florence Scovel Shinn knew these hours. She hinted at them in her writings. Moments when the conscious mind drifts and the subconscious is wide open, ready to record whatever it hears. This is why timing matters in the fire law. Fire will always obey. But fire burns differently at dawn and at midnight. At midnight, when the world is quiet, your flame speaks to the unseen with no interruption. The night watches carry your command like a courier, delivering it into the vault of the invisible. If you burn your lack at midnight, it is as if the darkness itself agrees. Let it be gone. And at dawn, just before the sun rises, the flame becomes a herald. It speaks into the day that is about to be born. Your decree at dawn becomes the law of your next 24 hours. You are not just waking up to chance. You are waking up to a command already sealed in fire. Think of it. You strike the match at 5 a.m. You whisper, "As this burns, my day obeys prosperity." And by the time the sun crests the horizon, opportunities are already being arranged in your favor. This is why the fire law is not about superstition, but about divine order. The universe keeps time. The law respects cycles, and fire placed at the right hour becomes a trumpet of destiny. Say it with me now. Whisper or write it. At midnight, I release. At dawn, I ignite. My wealth rushes to meet me. Do you feel the rhythm? Release at night. Ignite in the morning. This is the pulse of prosperity. This is the heartbeat of the fire law. So ask yourself, what will you burn tonight? What will you command at dawn? Because when you pair fire with timing, money has no choice but to move. It will rush. It will flow. It will obey. Stay with me. For soon we will step into the greatest secret of all, the words that must be spoken as the flame dances, the decree that wealth itself cannot resist. Every flame listens, every flicker waits, but there are certain words that make the fire leap, words that wealth itself cannot ignore. Florence Scovel Shinn knew the power of spoken decree. She wrote, "Your word is your wand." And when that word is joined with fire, it becomes more than wand. It becomes lightning. So what are the sacred words of the fire law? Listen carefully. These are not wishes, not hopes, not timid phrases. They are commands. The first decree. As this burns, so does every shadow of lack in my life. I am free. You speak it as the paper, the note, or the fear you've written turns to ash. Not with hesitation, not as a question, but as a verdict. The second decree. This flame carries my wealth forward. Money rushes to me now. You say this as the fire glows strongest, as if you were announcing to the universe, "Run, bring it, deliver it at once." And the third decree, the seal that closes the ritual. What is mine by divine right comes to me in perfect ways, quickly, richly, joyfully. Say it slowly. Say it with authority. Say it like a law already written, because it is. These words are not prayers of desperation. They are contracts. When fire hears them, it signs the contract in smoke. And the universe, bound by divine law, must obey. Imagine the scene, your flame crackling, your hand steady, your voice clear, every syllable turning into invisible instructions. Wealth itself, leaning closer, ready to rush in the moment you finish. Comment below if you feel the heat of this truth. The fire law is mine. I speak, I burn, I receive. Let the world see your decree. Let heaven record your words. Because the power is not in the match, not in the candle, not in the fire itself, but in the voice that commands it. And when that voice is yours, the flame becomes your ally. The fire becomes your wealth bringer. The law becomes your servant. Stay close, because in the next breath, we will explore the greatest secret, how fire not only carries your command outward, but burns it inward, searing your subconscious with the certainty of wealth, so that every thought, every step, every word aligns with your fortune. Most believe that rituals are only about the outside world. They imagine fire sending signals into the sky, messages to the heavens, smoke rising like a letter to God. And yes, the fire does this. But there is a deeper secret. The flame also etches its decree into you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. The fire law makes that vision unavoidable. Because when you burn away lack and speak your decree, you are not only instructing the universe, you are training your subconscious. The subconscious is like wax. It softens with heat. It records with impression. And fire, when paired with your voice, becomes the heat that stamps wealth into your inner being. Picture this. You watch the flame consume your written fear. You speak aloud, as this burns, so does every shadow of lack in my life. I am free. In that moment, your subconscious records it as truth. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now, this is why the fire law works so quickly. Because it bypasses the resistance of the conscious mind. It does not debate. It does not argue. It imprints. The fire outside ignites the fire inside. And when that inner fire is lit, wealth has no choice but to arrive. Because a subconscious branded with abundance cannot repel prosperity. It draws it like flame draws moths. Like sparks leap toward tinder. Like wealth rushes to the one who has become magnetic. Say this with me, even now. The fire within me burns away all fear. I am wealth. I am abundance. I am aligned. Speak it once. Speak it twice. Speak it until your heart races as if flames were flickering inside your chest. That is when you will know. The reprogramming has begun. This is not imagination. Neuroscience confirms it. The mind remembers most what is linked with emotion, with symbol, with repetition. And fire carries all three. So every time you practice the fire law, you are not only clearing your path, you are engraving a new destiny inside yourself. Stay with me, for what comes next will show you the hidden link between fire and faith, and why your decree becomes unstoppable when flame and belief walk hand in hand. A candle without belief is just wax and wick. A fire without faith is just heat and smoke. But when you join flame with conviction, the ordinary becomes divine. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, Faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. That is the secret. Faith doesn't wait to see the evidence. Faith sets the match before the rain falls, trusting that heaven is already on the way. This is why the fire law is not a game. It is not superstition. It is the physical mirror of your invisible belief. When you light that fire, you must stand as though the answer is already done. Your decree cannot be shaky. Your words cannot be half-hearted, because the flame only amplifies what you put into it. If you burn with doubt, the smoke carries doubt. But if you burn with certainty, the smoke carries law, and law always obeys. Think of the widow who gave her last oil, the prophet who called down fire on water-soaked stone, the saints who lit candles in dark cathedrals. Every act was powered by the same truth. Faith makes fire holy. So when you practice the fire law, stand tall, lift your voice, and decree as one who has already received. Say it now as a practice. This flame does not ask, it enforces. This fire does not beg, it commands. What is mine by divine right comes to me now. Do you feel the difference? That is faith. Not waiting, not hesitating, but standing in possession. Because fire reflects the heart. If you believe small, the flame flickers. If you believe large, the flame roars. Your faith is the fuel. And here lies the hidden power. Faith makes wealth rush faster. Faith makes prosperity obey quicker. Faith makes the fire law unstoppable. For the law is not moved by smoke alone, but by the Spirit in the word spoken. And when your spirit is certain, the universe bows instantly. Stay with me now, because in what comes next, we will step into the most dramatic act of the fire law. How to turn ashes into symbols of new beginnings, and why what remains after the fire may be the richest sign of all. When the fire has finished its work, most people walk away. They see only smoke drifting upward, or ashes scattered like dust. But those who understand divine law know this. The ashes are not the end. They are the proof. They are the seal. Florence Scovel Shinn often reminded her students that symbols hold power. And ashes are symbols, remnants of what has been released, tokens of what has been transformed. The fire law is not complete until you decide what to do with them. Look at the ashes in your hand. They were once fear, once doubt, once lack. Now they are dust, powerless, emptied of all force. But if you take those ashes and scatter them to the wind, you are declaring, "My lack dissolves into nothingness." If you bury them in the earth, you are saying, "My past is covered, and new growth will rise in its place." If you cast them into water, you decree, "My wealth flows free, unstoppable, carried beyond all borders." And if you simply blow them away, you announce, "My command is finished. It has gone forth. Nothing of the old remains." Say this now, sealing the thought. The ashes are my testimony. The fire has obeyed. My wealth is certain. Do you see the mystery? The flame performs the change. The ashes proclaim it. They whisper to the universe, "It is done." This is why you must never walk away from your fire casually. Pause. Honor what has shifted. Mark the ashes not as waste, but as evidence of law fulfilled. Because when you treat them as sacred, your subconscious takes the hint. It begins to say, if the fire has already reduced my fear to dust, then wealth must already be mine. And the universe, hearing that inner certainty, rushes to confirm it. Stay with me, because the next revelation is even greater. How to keep the fire burning within you daily, without matches, without candles, so that every word you speak, every thought you think, is as powerful as flame-consuming paper. You do not need a candle to keep fire alive. You do not need a match to carry the flame. For the truest fire is not outside of you, it is within you. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "You must be in harmony with the thing you desire." The fire of desire, backed by faith, brings it quickly. She knew the fire of a match was only a mirror of the fire already placed in the soul. The ritual may end, but the fire law lives on as long as you carry its heat inside. So how do you keep the fire burning daily? You turn your words into flame. Every time you say, "I am rich in divine substance," you ignite a spark in your subconscious. Every time you declare, "Money rushes to me now by divine right," you fan that spark into flame. And just as a single candle can light an entire room, a single burning thought of abundance can transform the atmosphere of your life. Try this right now. Close your eyes, take a breath, and imagine a fire glowing in the center of your chest. See it pulsing, see it warming, see it brightening with every affirmation you speak. Say with me, "The fire within me burns with prosperity. My words are flame. My wealth is certain." Do you feel it? That is the fire law, no longer dependent on ritual. That is you becoming the living altar. And here is the beauty. When you carry the fire within, the outer world must reflect it. Opportunities will appear as sparks in unlikely places. Money will move toward you as if drawn to heat. And people will feel the glow of your certainty before you ever open your mouth. But beware. If you let the inner fire go cold, no ritual can save you. The match will burn out, the candle will melt, and you will feel only smoke. So guard it, tend it, feed it daily with decrees, with faith, with thanksgiving, because a soul that burns with divine fire becomes irresistible to prosperity. Stay close now, because next I will show you the ultimate secret of the fire law, how to use the flame to not only call wealth, but to shield it, to protect your fortune so it never slips away again. Most people think attraction is the only key. They focus on pulling wealth in, calling money forth, commanding prosperity to rush toward them. But wealth, once arrived, can be fragile. Fear can scatter it. Doubt can drain it. Delay can devour it. This is why the fire law is also a shield. It not only calls riches to you, it burns away everything that would steal them. Think of a circle of fire. Ancient tribes knew it. They would light flames around their camp to keep out predators. Not by swords, not by walls, but by fire. Your decree does the same. When you speak the fire law, you are not only calling money forward, you are setting a blaze around your wealth, making it untouchable. Try this decree, with your voice steady and bold. This fire surrounds my fortune. No thief, no lack, no loss may enter. My wealth is protected by divine law. Say it again. Let your words feel like flames wrapping around your treasures. Because wealth must not only be attracted, it must be preserved. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "Nothing is too good to be true. Nothing is too wonderful to happen. Nothing is too good to last." Notice that last phrase. Nothing is too good to last. The fire law enforces that. It makes your blessings permanent. It keeps your increase in place. Imagine it now. You've commanded money to rush in. It has obeyed. It sits in your account, in your hands, in your opportunities. But now, with the fire law as shield, it cannot slip through your fingers. Every bill paid still multiplies. Every purchase circles back as return. Every gift given reappears in greater form. Because the flame protects the flow. Because the fire guards the gate. Because the decree seals the treasure. Write this in the comments to anchor it into your spirit. My wealth is guarded by divine fire. No loss, no lack, no delay can enter. When you declare it publicly, you join your flame with countless others, a circle of fire that nothing can breach. Stay close, because in the next revelation, we go deeper still. How the fire law turns delay into speed. How the flame makes slow money sprint toward you. And why those who hesitate are always left in the ashes. Have you noticed how wealth often seems slow? Promises drag, payments stall, opportunities crawl when you need them to run. This is not coincidence. It is the law of hesitation at work. A law Florence Scovel Shinn warned against. For every time you delay your command, the universe delays its answer. But fire changes everything. Because fire is speed. It leaps, it spreads, it consumes. One spark can cover a field in seconds. One flame can turn waiting into rushing. When you ignite the fire law, you are instructing prosperity to stop crawling and to sprint, to stop circling and to land. Say this with me, as if your words were embers flying into the night. I do not wait. I do not delay. The fire carries my wealth swiftly. What is mine rushes to me now. Did you feel that shift? Your voice rode the flame. Your decree leapt like sparks. And just like that, the universe is forced to accelerate. Think of it. A client who was hesitating suddenly decides. A payment that was stuck releases. A door that was dragging open swings wide. Because your fire burned through the waiting. This is why Florence said, "Never hinder another's supply. Never delay your own." She knew delay was the thief of destiny, but fire is its cure. So the next time you feel like you're stuck in pause, strike a match, watch it flare, and decree with fire in your voice, "My wealth does not tarry. My money moves quickly. Delay is burned away." Even now as you listen, begin to expect acceleration. Look for signs of speed. Notice how quickly the universe answers. Stay with me, because the final act of the fire law is coming, and it is the most powerful of all. How to take everything we've learned, the release, the decree, the ashes, the shield, the acceleration, and turn it into one final command that seals your fortune permanently. All fire has a beginning, a spark, a strike, a whisper of light in the dark. But every true fire must also have an end. Not an end of destruction, but an end of fulfillment. The moment when the flame completes its mission. The fire law has walked you here. You have learned to burn away lack. You have seen how ashes testify. You have carried fire within. You have guarded your wealth with a circle of flame. You have accelerated prosperity until it rushed into your life. And now, you are ready for the final fire decree. This decree does not simply call money. It does not merely shield it. It does not only speed it. It does all three at once. It is the command that seals fortune into your destiny permanently. Speak it aloud with every breath in your body. By the fire of divine law, I burn away all shadows of lack. I ignite my wealth into full flame. I shield it with eternal fire. I command my riches to rush and remain. What is mine arrives. What arrives multiplies, and what multiplies endures. So it is, now and forever. Do you feel the power in those words? Not just heat, not just smoke, but law clothed in flame. This decree is not to be whispered once and forgotten. It is to be repeated, embodied, lived. Each time you speak it, the fire within strengthens, and the wealth without obeys. And here is the great mystery Florence Scovel Shinn left for us to remember. Your word is your wand. But when spoken with fire, your word becomes lightning. Instant, irresistible, permanent. So take up the fire law. Practice it boldly. Honor the ashes. Keep the flame alive within. And never again allow delay, lack, or fear to enter your circle. For you are not at the mercy of chance. You are not hoping, waiting, or pleading. You are commanding. You are igniting. You are sealing your destiny in flame. Now I invite you. Declare it in the comments so the circle of fire grows stronger. By divine fire, my wealth obeys now. And if this message has lit something in your soul, subscribe so you never miss the sparks and flames of truth that are coming next. For the fire burns on, and your wealth, by law, must rush in.